Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this next panel in the Navigating the New Normal webinar series. We'll begin shortly, but I wanted to begin by acknowledging that we are all treaty people and that the programs, services, and supports offered by the Saskatchewan Parks and Recreation Association reaches the lands covered by Treaties 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. The traditional territories of the Cree, Dakota, Dene, Lakota, Nakota, and Saulteaux peoples, and homeland of the Métis. We respect and honor the treaties and move forward with Indigenous nations in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. I am Christian Bates-Hardy, Communications Consultant with Saskatchewan Parks and Recreation Association. Our webinar today will be hosted by Rob Boulding, SPRA Field Consultant. But I just wanted to mention, in case this is your first time joining us today, that SPRA provides leadership, support, and services that contribute to recreation's impact on the quality of life for people in Saskatchewan. We have a main office in Regina and field offices throughout the province. And if you'd like to learn more about us, you can visit our website at spra.sk.ca. We are empowered through funding by Saskatchewan Lotteries, and SPRA manages the recreation section of the Saskatchewan Lotteries Trust for Sport, Culture, and Recreation. And if you're wondering how to participate in today's webinar, please use the questions box if you have a question. And if you have any issues during the webinar, like you can't hear people or you can't see the webinar, please use this box to communicate these technical issues with us, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. And just a reminder that while you're participating in the webinar, you should be able to see and hear our panelists and our host, but you are on mute and you can't talk to them directly. So if you have questions, and we'd like you to ask your questions, please use the question function, and we'll forward your questions to our panelists and our host. And with that being said, I will turn things over now to our host, Rob Boulding.
Hi, thanks for joining us today. I just wanted to give a bit of history to why this topic and panel was put together. And if you go back to our very first panel discussion on June 2nd, SPRA asked a similar question of participants: how are your communities in the municipal rec industry adapting to COVID-19? Feedback from participants at that time was you want to hear more from our smaller communities in rural Saskatchewan, and that would include the north. So now we revisit this conversation and this question and discuss community recreation in challenging times. A bit of an update. How are things really going? What have we learned? How have we adapted? So this is an interactive panel discussion. We encourage you to ask questions and engage with our panelists. Tech-wise, we don't get to see the questions. So they will get fed to me, or Christian will just come on verbally and ask them. We've also got Chris Chappelle in the background helping with some tech support. So to ask that question, your only option is to type it into the box, the question box, okay? Or if you have any comments, you can put that in there, and Christian will hopefully get to them. If you have a specific question for any one panelist, identify that, and then we'll address it to that individual. So there will be a recording of this. I think right now we got about 47 people on. There was more registered, but again, it's 11 o'clock on a Tuesday after a long weekend. I'm thankful that you did show up, and there'll be some of you that are watching this on the recording. So who is on our panel today? We've got Jaime Helgeson, Leisure Services Director for the town of Foam Lake, a town of just under 1,200 people. Jaime also serves on the SPRA Board of Directors. She is Director of Towns. We've got Deb Ashby, who's been a rec director in the town and arm of Bengough for many years. I'll leave it up to you if you want to say how many. But Deb was recently recognized as one of our award winners, the SPRA Award of Merit, just a year or two ago. You don't see Kevin Roberts. He's accessed this by phone. So Kevin is here as well. He has been Director of Sport and Recreation for the Lac La Ronge Indian Band at the Jonas Roberts Memorial Community Center. I think it's been about 8 years for Kevin. This center was featured in the spring of 2018 edition of SPRA Direction magazine. And if you're paying attention to award winners, Kevin was the SPRA Facility Operations Award winner at our 2019 conference in North Battleford. So maybe some of you have met him there. Sara is rec director in the town of Gull Lake, 9 years-ish, population just over 1,000. And Sara served for 8 years on the Southwest District Board. Myself, Rob Boulding, Field Consultant with SPRA, 9 years now. Prior to SPRA, I have 15 years as Rec Director in the town of Birch Hills, another town of similar size. I had responsibility at that time for skating rinks, curling rinks, ball diamonds, campgrounds, golf course, summer playground program, skate park being built as I transitioned to SPRA, but none of this being operated in a COVID environment. Prior to Birch Hills, I started my career with 4 years as a programmer with the City of Prince Albert and working out of the Margot Fournier Center. So, deeper introductions. We'll go to Jaime, I guess, first. Just introduce yourself, a bit more detail, how things been going in Foam Lake with your summer facilities, and then we'll just continue around. It's up to you, Jaime.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Jaime Helgeson. I'm from Gull Lake. The facilities that I operate, or that are in my portfolio, I guess, are the water park, the campground, visitor center, driving range, the trails and marsh areas, our community hall, all of our summer programming, and general programming. This year we have opened the pool, the water park, and the hall at a limited capacity. Our gym is in there. And ball diamonds are also open, as well as parks and playgrounds. Anything able to open under guidelines has been open.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, our summer program is running at a kind of an adapted, creatively adapted, I guess, programming. It's been really good so far, a lot of participation. So.
Oh, cool. Okay. Deb, how are things going in Bengough, an area?
Pretty well. We opened pretty well everything that we could. I'm in charge of all the sport and rec facilities, so includes the skating rink, curling rink, community center, youth and fitness center, regional park, which includes the swimming pool, the campgrounds, the golf course, ball diamonds, beach volleyball, and playgrounds. So basically everything, and programming along with that. We did open our pool July 1st with limitations. We've got a max of 50 people at a time in the pool, and we've had a few times we've had that max, but people have been very understanding about that they have to wait, or I've actually had them phone ahead to make sure that there is room for them before they come. We opened our golf course with limitations, of course. The playgrounds, the campgrounds open. We're at 100% capacity now, at 50% to start with, and everything is opened up, the bathrooms, showers, etc. So that's good. We do have a summer program, and Kennedy is offering. We've changed it a little bit. She's got a max of 12 kids per week, and they have to be registered. It's the same kids for that whole week, so that they have their own place to sit. It's all social distancing, but it's been going really well. We've had good turnout for that. We have offered swimming lessons, and just with decreased numbers, and we've gone to week-long lessons instead of 2-week lessons, and just to accommodate everyone, because fewer kids in each class, and parents having to go in the water with their younger kids, and all those type of things. But yeah, everything's running and good to go.
Oh, super. Kevin, from your phone in La Ronge area, how are things going?
Sorry everybody. I couldn't get my volume going for whatever reason on my computer. Anyways, I'm Kevin Roberts. I'm the Director of Sports and Recreation here with the Lac La Ronge Indian Band. We're a Woodland Cree First Nations community. We are one of 6 communities, so we're known as a multi-community band. In our area, there's a population of 6,600, which includes the town of La Ronge and village of Ronge. We like to use the term tri-community, so we do a lot of stuff together within our area. We operate a hockey arena, a fitness center. We have a hall/gymnasium. We have a walking, jogging track. We have a boardroom, our sports ground, which has 2 ball diamonds and an outdoor beach volleyball court. And we have what we call our entertainment park, which is an outdoor concession, 18-hole mini golf. We have snook ball, which is for people that are not aware of it. It's a combination of snooker, and soccer with an outdoor pool table. And we have a batting cage. So those are the things that our facility consists of.
Oh, that's spectacular. Okay. Sara, then you did not open your pool.
No.
What else this summer?
Our park is open, our playgrounds, our basketball court, our pickleball court and tennis court, and they've all been used quite regularly. As soon as we could open them, we opened them, and people were really pumped to get back in. Our ball diamonds, our walking path has seen a decent amount of traffic this year. Our community hall is open at a limited capacity, just like Jaime's. Our gym is in that same facility, and it's a 24-hour facility, so now they're able to open again just with the sign-in sheet for contact tracing. And our summer play program just actually wrapped up the last week. We had also had to modify it, and it worked out quite well. We just split our ages. We did a K-2, a 3-5, and a 6-10. And then we were able to put 15 kids in each of those. So we did in-person 3 days a week, and then they had an option to take a day, take a kid home to do another day throughout the week. Our campground is open. Our museum didn't open this year. They kind of made the call on that the same time as the pool. So we're down a couple facilities, but we've been able to supplement with some programming that is also part of my job.
Oh, cool. So a busy summer in Gull Lake. All right. Just a little bit more maybe about the summer programs, the youth centers, the pool programming. Were registration numbers up, down, special training for leaders? Was there anything else you could add then, Deb, related to that? You referenced it a bit.
Yeah, our numbers are pretty consistent for swimming lessons. We have actually had kids from Ogama, Coronach, and surrounding areas come because, well, Coronach didn't open their pool. Ogama only opened one of their pools. So we have had quite a few people from there. So we went to the week-long lessons instead of 2 week to accommodate more people. And because of the numbers, we only had 5 in a class instead of a regular 10. So, and then with anybody in swimmer 2 levels and down, we had a parent go in the water with the kids to help them with anything they needed help with, so the instructors didn't have to be so hands-on. And that's gone well. The parents have been really receptive to that, so it's worked well. Other than that, the public swimming has gone well, as people have been pretty understanding about the limited numbers. And yeah, and what else do we need to know? The summer playground program also has been very popular. We've only allowed 12 kids per week, but we're doing 8 weeks of 1 week sessions, so we're accommodating as many kids as possible, and it seems to be going well as well also. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, Deb. Kevin, the youth center. You said you did have a youth center, but the fitness took over some of that space. What else is going on for youth then in your area? Did we lose Kevin? Just reading.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Okay, thanks. Yeah,
sorry,
for the youth.
I was on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our youth center was shut down completely when COVID hit, and it hasn't reopened yet. We do have some summer programming that has started on a smaller scale. And they come into the facility twice a week. We also have the Jays Cares program, which we started last year with the Blue Jays Foundation. That gets rotated from all our other 6 communities, and they come in twice a week here as well. So they run activities. With COVID being putting a unique spin on things, what they've done is also did food hampers through that program, and they deliver them to the houses on the reserve. So there's activities going on. Both our schools on the reserve do have recreation workers, and they have been running summer programs as well. So for the most part, kids are being able to access programming here in our community.
Oh, super. Well, Sara, then Jaime. I'll modify the question a bit. Julia just sent in a note. How has youth engagement been in your communities? Are they seeing higher, lower, the same participation rates in programming? Are they using facilities more, less, the same since their opening? So maybe Sara, can you address part of what Julia was asking?
Yeah, so we've actually we found a huge number of kids that were looking for programming this summer. And I was able to hire enough staff for our summer play program that we were able to accommodate them while still keeping in that 15 per group, like in that guideline. So we had, specifically in our grade 6 to 10 group, we would have upwards of like 35 kids that were looking to participate in programming, and we've never seen that before. So that was a nice surprise, a nice little COVID surprise. And then we've also had a couple of just like one-off evenings, like had a couple of those vinyl sign paint nights, and they both filled up so quickly that we had a waiting list and were able to do a third. And the facilities that are open to are seeing regular traffic. So our park, our basketball court is seeing more action than we've seen for quite a long time. And the ball diamonds, even though we didn't have a formal ball season, there's kids up there like every day. We have 5 ball diamonds and there are people there playing every day. So really cool to see that.
Oh, super. Jaime, anything else you can add to that with youth programming?
Yeah, we actually didn't go the play program route. We kept it virtual online. We did a summer at home project where we're doing things like dropping off mosaic projects, craft projects, tie-dye week. We had Learn to Garden, where we take the registration, we hand deliver the contents or the things that they need to participate, and then our staff actually do a video at the end of the week to give instruction on how to create whatever the week is. So families can do it at home or kids can do it within their bubble. We've been seeing huge participation rates, whereas, you know, last summer we could accommodate 16 to 18 within our budget for supplies. This year, because we're kind of scaling it back, we're seeing 40 to 50 participants getting a craft each week. So there's, you know, we're reaching a lot of people. Also, since the guidelines have changed a bit, we're going to be doing some pop-up paint afternoons. So we're getting some people registering for that. And then Parkland Valley Regional District, their summer staff is coming in twice this summer to do to facilitate, I guess, some play programs as well with the kids. So yeah, that is, and also, you know, our parks and trails have been very busy. We have a Milligan Creek Trail, 1 kilometer trail, and the international birding area, the Gull Lakes international birding areas within our portfolio, such as Star Volunteer Team Nature Trails has been working on keeping those trails ready for people out on an adventure. Our pool, we thought we'd be really inundated. We also scaled down the capacity to 50, 100 just to us wasn't safe at all. And we thought we'd be seeing a lot more traffic. We've been at capacity several times, but it's been a little slower than we thought. We thought we'd be at capacity a lot more than we are, but we're happy that we can provide the service. We're not doing lessons this year, just public swimming only. So, you know, as far as I can see, we're having a really successful summer despite all of the guidelines and regulations we have to follow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just got forwarded a question regarding group fitness classes, and I didn't run a lot of those in Birch Hills as a small town rec director. Like, Deb, you're one of our fitness leaders. A couple of you guys have run fitness centers, but how have the group fitness classes gone, Deb? Did you run any at all?
Yeah, actually we did. Once we could start, we did with limited numbers and social distancing. So I have been doing bar classes. We've been doing yoga. We've been doing, I've been doing the Forever in Motion class. We used to do that to drop in, but I moved that to the community center so we can spread out more. So we've got our 2 meters between everyone, and they've actually been going really, really well. So.
Okay. I think, was it Lisa was just wondering, was there anything she should be aware of as a fitness instructor in running these?
biggest thing is just to keep people distanced from one another, you know, especially when you're sweating and breathing heavy. So it's more than 2 meters basically between everybody, because we have lots of room at the hall. We can spread everybody out. I mean, the numbers haven't been huge. We haven't had more than 10 people anyway in a group, but just keeping them spread out is the biggest thing. I know some people make them wear masks. I don't, but I just sanitize everything before and after, and we keep our distance, and yeah, it's been going quite well.
Sara, your facility, did you run group fitness, or is it just the facility for?
We've had a few group fitness classes. We had some yoga in the park, and then we had some high fitness classes. The one was like 32 degrees, so we actually had to move onto the ice surface because we had so many people that we couldn't distance in the hall. So when we used the ice surface, we were able to run our class and keep, is it 16 feet they recommend if you're, is that right, Deb? You're kind of nodding, but when you are breathing heavy. So they've been really well received too. People, I would say, like better than in the past years. People are really looking for something to, I think, kind of maybe get back into that community vibe a little bit too, and just change the scenery.
Okay. I have a rink question. I'll leave that for the rink stuff later if I can remember to get back to it. Liability. One of my favorite colleagues here has a question about liability and risk management. Municipal and band leadership across the country. What if there's an outbreak in one of your facilities? What have is your leadership giving you any direction policy-wise? Maybe Kevin, has band council said anything about this kind of thing for your big facility?
No, actually, and we had gone through an election this year, so while they were out, we do have a pandemic organization that they've been given direction and guidance to take a leadership role in times such as these, and I'm on that committee. And so I wore a couple of hats with our facility here, and being a part of our pandemic coordination team. And council sits in with us now. They're a part of our committee, but they don't necessarily make the decisions by themselves. We do a group decision through our pandemic team. So that's where we're at with that. And while they were gone, I guess the people just had to trust us as an organization that we were trying to do the best as we could. Keep in mind, a few years back, we had the fires, so we were able to develop a policy and emergency plan from that. So we were quite prepared when the pandemic hit and everything shut down in town. So.
Okay. Maybe back to Sara, a question from Coral, and she's in a small town smaller than yours. I haven't been to your fitness center in Gull Lake, and I haven't been to the one in Porcupine Plain either. But with no staff on site and cleaning, and are you allowing people in if it, like, I don't know how they're staffed. We even had that chat at a programmers meeting with, you know, the bigger centers, like a Uniplex or something, where you've got a person at the front desk, but not really in the room. Like, how have you handled that if you're not fully managed?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that now 24-hour fitness facilities are able to be open, but you have to sign yourself in and sign yourself out, and then clean, like all the sanitizing supplies are there, and you just have to clean everything down when you're finished. When things first kind of opened, our gym users were looking to hire a summer student, and then the members would just have to pay each time, and the summer student would kind of be in there and ensure that the users were physically distancing and then cleaning up afterward. But now things have kind of gone like 24-hour access again.
Yeah, I didn't fully read that update. That was in one of the last updates, I think. And
yeah.
And this becomes a challenge in staying on top of all these updates, and you download one and it's out of date and you're constantly having to check, and it's been a challenge for you guys, small towns. Oh, let's see. Just a follow up on that liability piece, maybe for the municipalities. Has there been any communication with your insurance agents, your insurer? Like, some of you guys are going to be SUMA, SURE, Aon, some of you are going to be SGI. Is there any communication with insurance? Maybe Deb, Jaime, Sara?
Yeah, I can you hear me? I don't have much to say. I'd leave that up to my administrator, who is fully on top of that. And, you know, any changes or modifications that we are having to make at the pool is, you know, communicated to her. And she's very good at letting me know what we can and cannot do. And so we kind of leave it up to the administrator for any of the insurance in our facilities.
Yeah, same for me.
And me.
Sara? Yeah. So that leads into a different question from Marcia. Who's putting on the programming? Do the communities hire someone? Do volunteers do it? Or does the rec director run it? And I guess that's a whole big rec board development piece for our field consultants. We're asking these questions all the time. I think I wrote an article in Direction a little while ago, who owns the building? So yeah, in most cases, the town owns the building, and the band probably owns the building unless there's a nonprofit lease kind of agreement. You guys are rec directors. Not everybody has a rec director. Some of you report to a volunteer board. Some of you report to an administrator. So I think in answering Marcia's question, in most cases, these programs run through you people, I would think, as the rec director.
Yep.
And Kevin, again, as a manager of that facility, most likely things are going through you, although it is an election year and there's going to be some lobbying from potential mayors and councillors who may want to see things done a certain way, and I'm sure that's caused some of you guys a little bit of grief. But okay, I'm just going to check the questions. I'm not the best multitasker, so let's go back to the keeping participants safe question that we had, that I had, I guess, from before. And Kevin, we'd start with you here, but in keeping people safe, any special, unique challenges, signage, sanitation, disinfecting, policy? Sounds like your leadership has been very good in this. Guidelines and protocols?
Yeah, we've in terms of our fitness center, we've put tons of signage up. We mark pods on the floor with tape, so there's only certain space on the floor where people can go. We put arrows all over. We shut down 1 hour a day for a full cleaning. Then our janitor at the end of the night does another full cleaning. We encourage everybody to wipe their machine down as well. We've purchased extra cleaning supplies. What else have we done? Extra hand sanitizer. We've installed a touchless water fountain. All the financial part of it are all touchless, so all e-transfers for memberships. Key fobs now are activated with we were now able to open up to 24 hours. So we still have the sign-in sheet. So for back tracing, as it was noted earlier, we do that as well. So those are the stuff that we've been doing here.
Oh, good work. Sara, what extra things have you had to do or challenges you faced in keeping people safe?
Our municipality has kind of decided that the onus is mostly on the user for our outdoor facilities. So our ball diamonds, our park, our pickleball courts. We have signage posted that reminds people of social distancing, to wash their hands, and then notices that these places are not sanitized. Our indoor facilities are a little bit different, our community hall and our rink and our gym, but our play program used the community hall kind of as like a home base and bathroom area. And so for 1 hour post play program each day, the kids that I hired to work had to spend that time cleaning and sanitizing all of the areas that had been used. And then the only other different thing maybe was we had an outbreak in our area a couple of weeks ago. And because our young play program people specifically need quite a bit of close contact with our play leaders, we did make masks mandatory at our play program. So we had a few people that said their kids weren't really comfortable with that and didn't come. So I just refunded them their money. But for the most part, people were good. And then the play leaders and the kids both felt like they could get in and they could help with their tie-dye towels or help with whatever they needed to. A lot of the onus has been on the people using the facilities.
Okay. Jaime, how have things gone in this regard?
Yeah, I guess with the swimming pool, for sure, just amping up the cleaning. We actually have it as part of rotations probably every 30 minutes. There's a refresh and a clean. We have hired office staff because we, being a smaller community, cannot do contactless transactions. We take cash. So just making sure we have someone in the facility that's comfortable handling cash. We put plexi up for just the face-to-face in both the campground facility, like with the visitor center, and the pool building, and just making sure that our guards and our staff are just really trained up and have read all the guidelines and are keeping current on the guidelines. What else? Signage, a lot of signage, a lot of hand sanitizer, a lot of our guards and our summer staff are teenagers, so they're really growing up and getting more confident in enforcing the guidelines and making sure that they are following all the rules. We have any of our facilities that are being used regularly, we do take a name and a phone number just for contact tracing, and we're just making sure our staff are comfortable and making sure that we as rec director and my leisure service maintenance person is available to them should they have any questions or concerns or have to deal with any unruly parents or patrons.
Okay, Deb, anything you want to add?
I don't really have a lot to add. We've done the same, lots of hand sanitizer, regular cleaning, like it's part of the lifeguard's job as well. We clean before lessons, after lessons, before public swim, after public swim, probably 4 or 5 times a day. We're sanitizing indoor and outdoors. The play program is the same. They do a sanitization at the end of the day, but it's being the same 12 kids for that whole week, so they feel more comfortable with the fact that they don't have to do a deep clean, but they do sanitize everything every day. And outdoor facilities, kind of the same thing, signage. And at the golf course, we don't have the rakes out because we have sand greens, so there's no rakes, so you just chip on and take a stroke for your putt and away you go again. So just little things like that. At the campground as well, once somebody leaves their site, then it's fully sanitized and cleaned for the next person, and the bathrooms are cleaned regularly. And yeah, it's just everybody's on board with it. The kids are doing a great job, so all the staff is doing wonderful with it, so it's good.
So where are you guys getting your sanitizer from? There's one question here where she's been back ordered.
I've been getting mine from Chemical International. That's where I get all my cleaning supplies, and he was very good to contact me early and get me stuff right away, and so I've had no issues. But
yeah, Jaime, where are you getting yours from?
Just our local pharmacy here, Walmart, and All Seasons Rentals and Sales out of Yorkton. They supply all of our paper products for the pool and the campground, and they've been fully stocked with Lysol wipes and sanitizer since the get-go. I don't know if they were just really prepared or what, but we've been lucky, very lucky. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a lot of good ideas. Kevin, is there a supplier you're getting things in through your janitorial or?
We get all our janitorial stuff out of Enviroway in Saskatoon.
Oh boy, lots of ideas. Sara, anything different?
We go from Country Club in Swift Current, Country Club distributors.
Oh, now I just heard of somebody getting something that Sean Health Supplies up by the airport in Saskatoon, a medical supply place. So there you go, all kinds of ideas that somebody won't put you on back order for that. There's one more good question here, more than one. I think my buddy Clint, my colleague here, had a question for Sara. With municipal leadership deciding not to open your pool, because there's lots of pools not open in his area, what's been the response from the general public? Have they understood the decision? Are they confused? You getting angry phone calls? How's that?
I was actually super lucky. People generally understood. Social media has been really good as far as getting information out for us. So we, like Foam Lake, decided not to run lessons like kind of early after talks with the Life Saving Society and kind of just their guidelines on running lessons. And we just know that we can't really afford to run our pool if we don't have the money from lessons coming in, because our RMs have recently pulled their funding. So it's strictly the town. I had a couple of, you know, those people that just like to type things on Facebook and don't actually talk to you face to face. There was maybe like 2 kind of snarky comments about that. And the funny thing is that they're the people that don't bring their kids to the pool anyway. And other than that, people have been so understanding. They understand the difficulties that the staff maybe would have faced in enforcing distancing and not being able to run lessons. So I think for the most part, people are just amping up for a really fun year next year. So pretty lucky. Good job, Gull Lake.
Oh, that's good. That's good of people. And I got Hudson Bay up in my area that made that decision really early. They didn't know what the answer was going to be from the government, and just with staffing and scheduling and everything, they made the decision not to open. And a week later, the government says it's okay to open, and they just held with that decision. And they communicated it very well through the town office, and that's just what it became. Do you have any other questions for each other at this point? The next topic was going to be around skating rinks and stuff. Have I missed anything, Christian, that's come in, or do you guys got something for each other?
Hey, Rob, we had a couple of questions come in. One question that came in from Shelley asks if there are any policies or protocols that you've adopted because of the pandemic that turned out to have such a positive effect that you're going to continue to use them after the pandemic has passed.
Right, that's the one I missed. It got hidden in there. Sorry, Shelley. Anybody want to tackle that one?
I will. I'm thinking, like, especially with our summer play program, Kennedy has found it great knowing that they only have 12 kids. They can plan the craft for exactly that many kids, because normally it was a drop-in program and they could have one day they could have 10, next day they might have 25, so it was really hard to plan. So I'm thinking she may stick with this next year, the week-long sessions and pre-registration and only a limited number of kids per week. It worked quite well. And the swimming lessons, I think we might stick with the 1-week lessons. I found that it worked quite well, and we might just stick with that. A lot of people prefer 1 week as to committing themselves for 2 weeks at a time, so we may stick with that.
Interesting. Jaime, is there anything else in your world that's adapting that way?
You know what, there's not a lot of policies that have been made per se, but a lot of notes being taken on things that could become best practices. Along with Deb, our summer programming, I think, has run a lot smoother with the pre-planning and the registration and just getting things done. It's a lot more efficient because my summer staff can also do more maintenance projects, which is nice for us as well. And like I said, I'll be evaluating the summer each facility and hoping to get some really good takeaways to use in the future. It's going to be a whole new world, right? So.
Okay. Anyone else with that topic? Adaptations? Starting to see a lot more questions relating to the question number 4, the skating rink. We're probably going to pick on Sara first in this case, because question came in. Wasn't sure if I should ask this one, was the first thought, but I guess we need to ask, like, around Gull Lake not opening your rink right away for fall skating in camps, you're a town of 1,000. Will that affect the winter opening? The question related to losing revenue, but I have a different opinion on losing revenue. Running an ice plant in October costs a lot of money. This is all expense. So do you think it'll affect your winter opening if you open a little bit later?
Well, like a few years ago, we didn't open until around Thanksgiving. So it would always be like mid-October. And then just the last year or two, we've put ice in September. And then this year we actually got approached by a user group that wanted to put ice in on August 3rd. And we kiboshed that. Our plant is sold. There's no way we'd be able to run through this 32-degree heat we have going on right now. But I think we're probably going to stick with that mid-October opening and see how back to school goes. And if numbers flare and things have to tighten up again, then we're still looking okay. But honestly, I think with the restrictions, like not being able to have tournaments, and we're not really sure how our booth is going to work this year. So I think too, the later we push it, the less revenue we're going to lose, as weird as that sounds. And we don't want to push it because we would like to offer that for our kids. But yeah, I think that's kind of where we're standing.
I understand. Yeah, I had an old ice plant too, and there's always pressure from the local senior hockey team. They needed to get on the ice earlier. I don't know what the Foam Lake Flyers are going to think, but running an ice plant starting that early just costs so much money. And it's not just to Sask Power, it's the number of hours you put on that ice plant. And you may blow that thing up before you need it in November. So with Foam Lake, what are they thinking? Are you thinking with ice?
Yeah, not a ton of, I'm not going to say thought has gone into it. I just emailed out the most recent guidelines to our operating committee. So we run under our operating committee as a committee of the Foam Lake Leisure Services Board, who make, decisions on all operations. And just a lot of the guidelines and restrictions that are in there kind of seem like they were thinking more urban than rural. With all of the enforcement and preparation, things like that, it seems like we're going to have a staff of 4 to 5 when we really have one guy on all the time. So we run on volunteers. Most small towns run on volunteers. So so thinking of that and thinking about that our rink is a hub of activity. So, minimizing spectators is going to be a problem with enforcement, having people coming in and signing in as they're putting here in the guidelines. So I think it seems like they're assuming that our small town rinks have staff to do the things in the guidelines. Our next meetings at kind of the end of August, we turn on the ice plant on October 15th and hopefully open November 1st. So we'll have a few more long discussions about that and confer with the Leisure Services Board and ultimately council to see what everyone's thinking and go from there.
Okay. Deb, anything in Bengough with your rink?
We haven't really discussed it yet, but I'm along with Jaime. We don't have the staff either to do everything that they're saying we need to do. So we're going to have to really have a close look at it. And we want to open our rink, our skating rink and our curling rink. That's our plan. And we're usually not open till end of October, early November anyway. So we have time, but hopefully things will change a little bit between then. The guidelines that they're expecting for small towns might change. Hard to say, but it's going to be tough for us to meet those restrictions also.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, you have a totally different way of thinking about this. What are your plans with your rink?
Yes, we are actually opening a month sooner than we usually do every year. So typically we would have our ice ready first weekend in October. We're opening up August 31st this year. We're looking at putting in a goalie camp, some hockey school, some power skating skill sessions, conditioning camps. We have a goalie camp confirmed, some body checking for the new kids that are turning bantam age, some defenseman specific sessions, some shooting and scoring clinics. So we're moving pretty quick on this, and we're pretty excited to open early actually, because hockey shut down quite early in March, and that impacted a lot of kids here with the cancellation of the First Nations Winter Games that were scheduled this year. The FSI Youth Hockey Championships, the Western Canadian Native Minor Hockey Championships, all those got canceled. So all those kids are just eager to get back on the ice. And I don't think we're going to have any problems filling up our slots here. So.
Yeah, so some revenue there for you. What did the town of Ronge go and do, Kevin, with their policy?
The town of Ronge ended up giving the local junior team, they waived their debt, and they're giving the junior team, the local Ronge Minor Hockey and the Ronge Figure Skating Club free ice time all this coming winter. And what we've always done every year, and I don't think the town leadership knew this, is that we matched our rink on the reserve, we always matched the same rental fees as the town. Even though our rink is 3 decades newer, we always matched them so we would work together with our minor hockey, both our minor hockey and our rec programs. So because they're doing that now, we're forced to open early and bring in revenue. That's why we're doing that.
And maybe while we got you here, there's a question from Kristen about you got a lot of different camps coming and going at different times, and how are you going to deal with that communal areas, the change rooms? How are you managing that, Kevin?
So I've my own kid was in Saskatoon for some hockey sessions there, and I've asked other parents and I've asked other organizers from the different camps going on right now at Gemini, at the other rinks in Harold Latrace in Saskatoon. So I followed up with them. Right now, everybody's just capping it at 30. Whether it's a combination of 25 kids and 5 instructors, no parents in the building is what we're going to do. They have to come to the rink pre-dressed, so we'd have chairs along the rink, socially distanced. They would be able to put on their skates. They'd go on the ice. They would get off. The next group would come in a different section of the building where they can put on their skates. By then, the other group should be out of the building. The new group goes on the ice, and we'll do three groups within the day. So that's our plan. There's no getting dressed in the dressing room. They just come pre-dressed, and everybody will get pre-screened. All the skaters get pre-screened before they come into the building. So we'll have a thermometer, taking temperature, making sure we ask the questions if they've been out of country and all that stuff, that the pre-screening questions that come along with that. So that's our plan there.
Oh, super. Hey, thanks to the City of Saskatoon. I know there's a few of you guys registered here, and thanks for your leadership and helping. Quite often, this is a rural forum, primarily rural questions, but we lean on the cities, and even the urban directors, the small cities lean on the big cities, and sure is nice for City of Regina and City of Saskatoon to show the leadership. And in SPRA, we're aware as well, and we're trying to stay ahead of this and find the right information for you guys. So that was most of the rinks. There might be a few more rink questions in here. I will share that I watched that CPRA webinar, and I don't get to too many. It was a couple of weeks ago. Krista Costas Bradstreet was facilitating that, and she had somebody from the Winnipeg MTS Center, someone from the City of Edmonton, someone from the City of Burlington. Hey, we're not those big cities in our situations, but there could be some lessons learned if you want to go back to the CPRA webpage and find that webinar. And I just finally watched that on Friday. Let's see. Elizabeth had a question. It's another interesting one. We're taking people's names for contract tracing. This gets down to that LA FOIP and the privacy stuff. How long are we retaining this information, or even allowed to be keeping it? I don't even know. But is there policies around data recording, or what you do with this, or when or maybe we only need it for 2 weeks? Or what have you guys thought about this data that we're keeping? Sorry, I don't know who has, Deb, do you have a thought, or anybody?
Not really. I know we have people sign in when they come into the pool. They have to sign in, sign out. And I just keep that in my logbook, so I'll have it for the summer. I don't know if I would keep it beyond that. And then at the campground as well, we get phone numbers. When anybody's camping, their name, their phone number, contact information in case something happened up there. I'm not sure. Never thought about how long we would keep it.
No, I didn't either. And I know even when I was cleaning out my office before I went to SPRA, I had all these registration forms. I had photocopies of social insurance numbers that we had to send into Saskatchewan Softball Sask. And yeah, that stuff that should have been shredded at the end of the season. So we should just put some thought as to when do we keep data? What do we need to keep? What should we collect in the first place?
So for contract tracing, what we're doing, is that we're just taking the name and the time that they come in and their phone number. And basically, we have all their phone numbers in our system already. So it's not, there's no other personal information that's been released from our clients to us that's can be used negatively.
Yeah, and we're pretty rudimentary as well. Sorry, Bob.
Yeah.
Just exactly the same. Just in a binder, which I will keep in my office until probably the end of the season. And there has been, you know, God willing, no outbreaks or anything like that, just to keep safe. So I have it easily accessible to present to public health should I need to.
Yeah. Hey,
it'd be nice to have some. It'd be nice to have a little bit of guidance, I guess, for how to keep that information and for how long from public health, maybe.
Yeah, that was a tough question. I think SPRA will show some leadership and we'll look into this. And Peggy Lynn suggested, and thanks for her being on here with in her role. But yeah, we'll check with SHA, the Business Response Center, whoever we need. But we'll figure that out and we'll get it to you. I don't know, in one of our platforms. So we're down to about 8 minutes, and lunch is important. We will finish on time. I'm just trying to peek at questions. Christian, is there anything I missed that would be a really good question?
I don't believe we've had any questions, any other questions come in that we haven't already addressed or that hasn't been addressed by our panelists. I know that there was a comment from Stephanie. She had a sanitizer recommendation. She said that she's purchased hand sanitizer and disinfectant supplies from BG Prairie Distributors in Wynyard.
Yes, so another option. And Helen's comment, again, there's a few of us that go on the recreation programmers meetings. Found there's a bit of a difference between a city programmer and a small town rec director, but there was some commonality. Sara, you go on those programmers meetings, and so for those of you that are in the city programmer scenarios, like I was 30 years ago in Prince Albert, Coralie from Ormond, Shannon from Melfort have this thing set up, and you can go in and have these chats, and Aaron from Estevan's on there, Clint from SPRA, or myself. Just another good networking opportunity. For those of you that, well, you all should be aware, small town rec directors, you know that your districts are running these good networking meetings. Here in Lakeland, we're running them every second week, and they're just a chance to have these chats. And then if one of us has to go look into something in a little more detail, we do that. Just want to see if Helen had more detail, as she probably did in that message. If I didn't catch everything, Helen, message me here. I'll try and get back to it. But was there any other questions? Oh, Vanessa had something. I guess this is how you're preparing your rinks for the upcoming season. I think we pretty well covered most of what we know that way. And if any of you guys have more questions on the rinks, geez, Kevin's a good resource. I would go probably next to those people that are running the SJHL teams. They're being forced to open earlier. So that'd be my first looks in my area, the Nipawins, the Melforts, the Humboldts, those kind of places. And guess that's probably all I have for right now. I'll just watch for questions to come in. Was there anything you had of each other then? Jaime, Deb, Sara, Kevin, you guys were awesome. Like this went over so well. Even Shelley TC says this was really good, and we get a recommendation from her, so that's always good. So anything to ask of each other then in the last 5 minutes? That's what I was trying to avoid, the silence.
That's okay. No, I just want to say thanks for having me. And, you mentioned a lot of good networking areas. The SPRA members forum is really good. And our Parkland Valley Regional District has been also having the networking meetings. We stopped for a little bit here, but they're always available to us small town rec directors who don't have people, right? We're all kind of on our own, so it's nice to have things like this and other networking meetings with your district, and you know, just speaking with other professionals that are going through the same thing. And just it's easy to second guess yourself when you are charged with making some of these decisions. I'm lucky to have lots of operating committees to fall back on that have a lot of good thoughts and advice. So thank you for, you know, having these. Thank you for all the networking that's been available through both the SPRA and all the regions, and just, you know, friendly telephone calls every now and then with, you know, the professionals that we know. So thanks again, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jaime. Anything else positive, I guess, just for each of you, just final comments. Deb, anything positive come out of this COVID thing for you?
I think just how the community kind of pulls together, and everybody's been awesome. All the volunteers, the parents, everyone has worked together to be able to offer what we can this summer, and everybody's been really understanding about the limitations. And yeah, so I mean, it's been good. It's better than I was expecting, to be honest. So
yeah. Kevin, any last thoughts? Anything? There's been some good that's come out of it somehow.
I'm going to put a positive spin on my staff being laid off, because they work they're on 7, we're open 7 days a week. In the wintertime, they're in the rink. Summertime, they're out in the ball diamonds and the mini golf in the yard. So this is a good break for them. They're pretty eager to return to work now. And we rarely close. There's a few stat holidays where we're actually closed, but for the most part, we're open almost little over about 340 days of the year we're open. So they enjoyed their rest, and they're pretty excited to come back to work. We're eager to open up again. I mean, we're quite busy over the year. We average 160 events in the year for bookings for graduations, weddings, social functions, career fairs, AGMs, bingos, sports tournaments. So we have minor hockey tournaments, rec tournaments. We're quite busy. So with us being closed, I know the public was really frustrated with that, but I mean, it was just part of being part of the pandemic, right? So excited to open up again as things slowly progress, and hopefully numbers start going down. So,
well, you've done a fantastic job up there with your facility and everything you've done, Kevin. Sara, last thought, and I'll close with one other thing. We got one other webinar next week, but Sara, before you go on your fitness break, what other positive things?
Honestly, my biggest thing is the amount of people that are out and about and using our facilities. So I have never seen people rollerblade in town. The last time somebody rollerbladed, I was probably in grade 11, and it was me flying down the hill. But we have people rollerblading, they're biking, they're walking, they're using our path, they're playing pickup basketball. That would be the biggest thing for me, is that the people are out and about and being active in our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, super.
Sure.
And then we just had one more webinar next week. Christian, do you want to introduce that, what we're doing in a week from now?
Yes, I would like to just mention that next Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. we have an upcoming webinar with former NHL player and co-founder of the Respect Group, Sheldon Kennedy, who will be delivering a webinar introducing the Respect in Sport for Activity Leaders resource that SPRA will be offering to our members in about a week. So the online resource will be available to members at a reduced rate following the webinar, and the webinar is an introduction to the new program. So again, if you want to attend that free webinar, it'll be at 1:30 next week, and you can register through our website.
Yeah, thanks, Christian. Well, we're going to finish right on time. Perfect. I appreciate all of you guys that have stuck with us. There's still 45 people left. We lost a few of you along the way just for having to get away for lunch and stuff. But yeah, thanks to my panelists. You guys were a perfect group for this today, and hopefully we'll use you guys again another day as we continue on this journey. So thanks for everyone attending, and I don't know how to log out, Christian, so if you can.
That's fine. I will take
Thanks,
care of this.
everyone.
Yes. Thanks everyone
Thank
for
you.
attending
Yeah.
and for participating.
Thanks.
And
Yeah, thanks.
hopefully you'll enjoy this after the fact when the video is available. But
Yes.
goodbye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks,
Bye.
Kevin.
Thank you.